modified, and surprise, surprise, four-wheel braking, which was a novelty in those days. One's already shot up the avenue. This is a 1924 third series Torpedo Lambda, it's called. These cars, the Lambda Owners Club, are regularly driving these cars back to Italy over the Alps. And this car's been back to Italy 6 times. It's used as a holiday car in Europe, owned by Mike Benwell for 40 years. That car was actually bought new in London for £675, which was the price of a 3-bedroom house back then. Now we come to a very, 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 very long-looking Lambda. It's funny how they use the same model, but they had lots of series. This was originally a shooting party car built for Ireland in 1926. Very original, except for the tyres, which of course you probably need some new ones. So this is a 1926 Lambda series. I don't know what series we're on now. So this is the 6th series. So an earlier Lambda followed by the 1926. Next one up, a 1927 Torpedo. Now this one has actually got the ladder chassis because when they evolved different series of the Lambdas, they wanted to have a different bodywork on top, a different shape. So they did go back to ladder chassis on some of these because it's the longer wheelbase. This was actually a car owned by Pat Ewer, and now her daughter's driving it, I understand. Pat's actually, I've got a proper expert. Now, sorry to continue to insult my normal experts, but I have Pat sitting beside me who knows about these cars. She first met this car in 1951 as a very young girl. Her boyfriend owned this very car, so she went out in a Lambda in 1951, but the boyfriend sold the car. But about 20 or 30 years later, 1978, 6 years later, Pat came across the car for sale and bought it herself. So she now owned the car, which she'd first been out as a passenger in, 25 years earlier. Had it rebuilt, and it's been to Italy 3 times. Rallied and went off to Ireland to do a rally. Had a lot of problems in Ireland and often broke down. Therefore, they called it Murphy because they blamed Murphy's Law for it breaking down. And talking of Ireland, because the next one on is a 7th series, 1928. It's one of the more modern ones. A short Torpedo from the Curtis Automobile Club. This was bought for £495. So it's always lovely the price of these cars. But the beauty of these Lambdas is that they keep their structural strength and they live for a long time, and they're now rebuilt and have a lot longer to go. And then the last one, almost, the last road-going version of the Lambdas is a very bright red 8th series Lambda Torpedo. Torpedo being a very nice word to use, even though it sunk a lot of boats, but it's a funny shaped torpedo looking. Long bonnets, torpedo shaped, long wheelbase. This car, actually interesting, was sold originally to India when it was brand new, and then it was bought and shipped out to Hong Kong in 1967 before we brought back to Europe, and currently owned by Colin Wise the last 3 years. So wonderful histories of how these cars have gone around the world and back and come to new ownership and here in Britain. But finally, we have a racing version. Now they've called this the Guy Lambda. Now they think this is the only one in the world. It was originally a large saloon, and it was modified for racing in 1927. The chassis with its open top racing body. It's a 1933 car underneath. But it's a typical Lancia slide. It's got the same suspension as the Lambda. Post-war, it was taken to America, virtually unknown until found by a Lancia expert and restored sympathetically to its new owner, Walter Heel. It's actually got an FCA's heritage certificate. It's a very, very special car.
Getting into the car, and then when he got out of the car, he said...
He's very worried about a ramp. The chassis was actually shortened to match the Alfa Romeo that it raced against a lot in the late 1930s. So this car has been restored so recently, it's only been on the road for 1 month, so it's very special here. You're seeing something that very few people have ever seen before. The only one in the world that only been born again a month ago. We're having a bit of engine trouble slightly. Hopefully it's still pumping away. We can see some smoke and fog. It's nice. So this tire is a one-off. It's a very, very special creation. Total of 4 litres excellent. Actually, you're very lucky. It's the first show they managed to get it running for. So not only is it the one-off, you're the first audience to see it go up the Lime Avenue.